So, you found yourself in Valheim, brought by the wings of a great raven and tossed haplessly on an island that, despite being at first glance uninhabited, looks welcoming enough. Large trees all around and rocks and sticks strewn on the ground makes it clear that this is clearly your typical survival crafting affair. You get to work, doing exactly what you've been trained to do. You get to chop in the massive beechwood trees. Well, that's different. But hey, I spawn right here and I get all my stuff back, and now I know something. Cool. I think I'll keep going. There's a lot going for Valheim, in ways that were rather unexpected to me. I looked at this game's amazing, almost spotless reviews and wondered, how? Are people still that enamored with survival crafting as a genre? I mean, I know Rust got huge in the fall because of the offline TV server that saw every streamer and his mom playing Rust for a few months for millions of viewers on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook gaming. Is that a thing? But from the images of Valheim, it looked bad. Really, it just looked like garbage to me. Look at the terribly pixely art, the trees, the textures, everything just looks 20 years old. What gives? When I took to playing indie titles over AAA titles, I donned a new motto: gameplay over graphics. But now I know something new. Even when it comes to graphic effects themselves, atmospheric effects and lighting make all the difference over high-res textures. And perhaps this is also part of why the game is atypically small compared to other modern titles, boasting a download size of around 1 gigabyte. Somehow I feel like I should have known this already, thinking back to clips of people playing Minecraft, a game that is the epitome of gameplay over visuals with RTX on, or the poor man's version, Silder shaders, that make the game look like it has ray tracing. Somehow the somewhat bland world of Minecraft that you've seen 1,000 times before is made into a much more vibrant, living world just because of the light cast over the rocks, trees, and water is scattering and permeating in more photoreal ways. Valheim takes full advantage of the same effect with beautiful results. You simply forget about the pixely textures and almost couldn't imagine it any other way. Rather quickly, you'll notice beauty everywhere, with heavy bokeh camera lens effects, with the wind blowing by, carrying gusts of summer air across the branches of Yggdrasil, the World Tree. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not looking it up either. Photos, however, just can't do it justice. You have to experience it to get it. Hence why looking at Valheim on the store page can leave one perplexed before asking a friend whether or not to pony up that $20. And wow, on that note, what a value you do get from that $20. I would venture to say for gameplay itself, this $20 is some of the best you can spend. Now it's in early access, so the price is subject to change as the game reaches a more finished state. It is customary for publishers to raise that price to reflect that. I'd suggest if it's still $20, get it now. Even if you have to beg your granny for the $20, it might be worth it. And why you should bother your grandmother for that $20 is that gameplay I mentioned. It's survival crafting, sure, but with a much stronger linear drive than other crafting games. Most drop you into a procedurally generated world with the end goal of PvP generally. The big change here is it's clearly meant to be played together with friends. If you're lucky enough to have any of those, it's you against the world, and you'll explore and move to harder and harder biomes. The biomes are unique with new enemies, resources, and dungeons to explore and master. On top of that, they each have a spawnable boss that you will need to fight in order to progress as sort of a capstone to your achievement in mastering that location. There are so many small things that come together to make this a special experience. So many game design choices that make it stand out in what could be a sea of very similar games. It seems that they took all the unfun stuff out. Turns out games being fun is kind of important, and if you're having fun and being challenged, you will keep playing a thing. So does it make sense that while you're trying to do something, you should have to stop and refill your food bar, give yourself a break from the cold, or find materials to fix your tools? No, it doesn't. It's more realistic, but who cares? Why aim for realism when really you're nowhere close? Real surviving crafting would be tedious and boring. From everything I learned from Bear Grylls, it's a lot of pee drinking mostly. But really, they simplify a lot of the tedious stuff and leave you spending most of your time building, exploring, and fighting. And the combat is one other aspect that should be mentioned. It's fairly dynamic. There's attacks, alternate attacks with most weapons, blocks, parries, even a dodge roll. The enemy's attacks are learnable and telegraphed so you can react if you're quick. It feels like baby Dark Souls. Not to compare everything to Dark Souls, but you do kinda attack, dodge, and block a lot like that. However, the enemy's attack patterns are just a lot easier, slower, and less complex. You are going to want to team up. How amazing is it to have a dynamic Viking village being built up by multiple people coming and going, saying, hey, who can come with me? I need to fight this next boss. Or, hey, I just found a couple ore veins I need to mine. You want to come with me for half of the treasure? The game lends itself to becoming something really special, where it could be a long-term game that is played over years, but will it be? Most people I know blew through its immense content in just 3 to 4 weeks, mostly because it's just so engrossing that they just couldn't stop playing it until it was over. The devs plan on adding new content, including another biome area and boss, but will that just be one more week in Valheim and then it's over again? It's hard to say. At present, you can only have up to 10 players in the world, which limits it to a linear game that you play with a couple of friends in strictly PvE, but with a persistent character, stats that grow as you play, items being able to come with you between worlds, servers. It's not hard for me to imagine something more than a flash-in-the-pan race to the finish. I can see how this could be a living, thriving world, almost like an MMO, where you could have islands of tribes of players interacting with one another, trading or fighting one another, teaming up to fight world-scale bosses and threats. But who knows if that sort of dream is shared by the devs, or if they are happy with the game as it is, and will simply just add a bit more content here and there until this thing fizzles out. As it stands, it seems that their roadmap for content is just that, additions to the game with no changes to the core philosophy and mechanics of the game. Which makes sense really, if it ain't broke and all that. But you know, I can dream, can't I? It's only in early access, and it's reached an enormous fan base of, as of writing this, over 3 million copies sold on Steam. Who knows where this game could be in a few years? I can't blame them for making the game they dreamed of. It just looks to me like the perfect backbone of something really incredible. A game that you don't spend a month on, but instead, years on. I guess I'll keep waiting on my massively multiplayer online crafting survival procedurally based Viking exploration and combat game. For now, we still have Valheim.